Look, I feel like this reunion should have been shot further down. I understand the reasons why they didn't shot the reunion, how they normally would shoot a reunion, but what I just watched, I think they should have been shot further down when things were airing a bit more on TV because I don't know, guys. The first part of the reunion kind of just felt to me like a catch up. Like we didn't get a reunion for the season one, so it felt more like catch up. And I must say, halfway through the reunion, I was falling asleep. It was I wasn't getting any to grab me to say yes, we need three parts. I felt like this part could have been thrown away. Um, where obviously next week seems to be a little bit more interesting, but this for me was a bit lackluster. I did not like the fact that Kristen basically apologized to Janet in the beginning of the reunion. And I saw a podcast where she stated that if they were able to shoot the reunion closer, how they would have shot the reunion and then the after shows and stuff. There are a lot of other stuff that she would have said when it came on to her and Janet. But I did not like the fact that she apologized to Janet because it felt more like setting the tone for Janet to feel as if like she was almighty and she did nothing wrong, and for her to feel as if how Kristen reacted warranted for her to receive an apology. And that's why I was like, Kristen, why? Why are you apologizing to this girl? Like she feels as if that she lost a bunch of weight now, so she feels like she's now the new queen bee of the show. And I was just not happy that she really went the route in apologizing. I felt like she could have done without doing that. Like I think further in the reunion, if it came up and then she felt like she still wanted to apologize, then fine. But doing it in the beginning parts of the reunion, I was like, why are you apologizing to Janet? We hate Janet. Why are we apologizing to her? But it happened. No, we found out that Danny and Nia they have moved to Santa Clarita, wherever that place is, and she seems to be enjoying it so far because she has now gotten the 5 bedroom house. Again, we touched on Michelle and Jesse. No, what I have to say regarding Michelle and Jesse, I feel like I'm just tired of their tit for tat type of argument. I feel like we don't get anywhere when we discuss their issues. It always feels like one or the other always have to be one up in one another. And it's like, I'm not even saying Jesse is the one who's always doing it because I think Michelle does the same thing as well, where she always feels like she has to be trying to get a higher point or to become more sympathetic or trying to get sympathy on her side. And I felt like we're not getting anywhere when it comes down to the both of them. It's always the same bullshit back and forth drama between the two. Yes, Michelle, I would say you weaponize your child, and Jesse does weaponize his child. And I believe Jesse said it. And I feel like Jesse somewhat is a bit more straightforward with his responses, where Michelle, she only gives a context to her reasoning is when Jesse challenges her. And this is why I'm saying we are not necessarily getting anywhere when it comes on to these two. It's always the same unnecessary back and forth with the both of them. And I'm just tired. Like, I don't want to see this next season. We saw where Aaron and Michelle are no longer together. So I guess we'll be touching on that. If she is back next season, we'll be touching further on that to see what caused the breakup between the two. But I honestly don't care. And I'm just wanting to see next season from the both of them that they have been fast track in getting this divorce. Because right now, as it stands, I'm just tired of the same back and forth with the two of them and trying to beat one another. And they asked I and that is why I felt like the reunion for me, it just did not feel too much of a reunion. It just felt more too early. And maybe because I know that it was shot early, why it just felt like we're not getting to the nitty gritty. And I think the first part of a reunion, you need to somewhat start to get to somewhat of the nitty gritty for us to feel hooked to come to see part two and also see part three. And for what I got, it was more like, we didn't need all of this, but we got it. And I'm like, what do I do with this information? Because I felt like I really learned nothing. I don't feel like there was any progress or any updates per se from when this season was shot to now we're at the reunion. And I felt like I'm not getting anything. The only thing I enjoyed as well throughout this reunion was I liked Zach and Jasmine's commentary at the side of the couch. Like they hardly really contributed anything vocally, but I liked their side comments with one another when they were also stating stuff like that. But I wasn't honestly so 100% pleased when it came on to this reunion. Um, we saw where Kristen touched on her, her pregnancy roads and her knowing that what she has been through, and then she said that she got pregnant 2 weeks after they wrapped filming, and she's basically due about now. And Janet, she says that she thinks Kristen will be a great mom, and we all saw last season where I believe it was her or Michelle, I believe it was Michelle, who said that Kristen should not basically have kids or anything like that because who'd want another Kristen on the earth or whatever it was. So it was really interesting to hear Janet say that. But again, based on what I saw in the finale with Janet, it's like she is playing victim to get sympathy after she's been a bitch. So I don't really take anything from Janet as authentic or if she does mean what she's saying, because I feel like she just creates the drama and the chaos and then wants to play victim and acting. And then this holding of hands with her and Jason, I'm like, come on with all of that. Like we don't feel or care for both of you. If it was season one, then we probably felt like Jason, run, you need to get out. But at the end of the day, I think both of them are meant for each other based on the two of them being the same. So I could care zero when it comes on to the both of them. Them chiming in, especially Janet chiming in, talking about Danny is an actor. He should know what a mic. What I'm like, Janet, I think you need to keep your mouth closed. And I think that will allow audience and persons to a little bit more, maybe not, but they maybe won't go so hard on you on social media. And again, it's not me condoning them sending death threats or anything what they're saying to you. I will not say that is okay. But I believe if sometimes you just keep your mouth closed and just sit there, it will take less of the unnecessary hate off of you and it make things better for you. I think you do this yourself and then you complain when you get the unnecessary hate through social media. And this is what I said from the get-go when I was recapping this season is you cannot play villain and then play victim at the same time. You have to choose which way you want to go. If you're going to lean into the villain era, lean into it. Do not comment social media or your podcast afterwards crying about how you feel so overwhelmed. You are privating your accounts. You're turning off your comments. Do not lean into the villain era if you cannot handle the heat. So if you want to be victim or be silent, just do that and just be victim and silent. And stop trying to play both sides of the fence and then expect persons to sympathize and understand. We don't know anything about you. We don't know anything about what's going on in your life. And if you think that is cute and that is totally fine for you to be on a TV show, a reality TV show at that, and we don't know anything about you or Jason's personal life, but you feel like you need to chime in and be a bitch towards everyone who are supposedly your friends or were your friends, it's not cute. And I don't think that's making you look any better in the eyes of the viewers. So I don't see who gave you that rule book, because I'm hopefully it's not Sheena or Lala, because we see where Sheena is writing books now saying that she feels the way how she felt, how she treated Ariana in the last season. So I don't know who's giving you this rule book or play by book, but again, you were a fan of Vanderpump Rules, so clearly you are trying to lean into your Stassi era, and I believe this is where Kristen will call it out at some point in the reunion. But I'm just tired of Janet and her side comments, and then Jason just sit there and co-sign her bullshit. You don't learn anything throughout the season. You come on this reunion and doing the same bullshit. And I can see season 3, you're going to be doing the same bullshit. And it's just, after a while, it's just going to get tiring. It's going to get boring. We're just going to be tired of the same trick that you keep playing over and over and over. Now, the highlight of this reunion really was mostly Jax and Brittany. I again do not buy or believe anything that comes out of Jax Taylor's mouth. I feel like he does this shit for sympathy, and I don't know who he is actually making this shit work on. Because all he speaks, he mostly tries to just tell Brittany she's right, because I think he just wants to move on from the conversation. But all of the speaking that he's doing, I am not moved by it. I care zero about what he's trying to sell to me or the audience at this point. But I'm just watching this reunion and being glad that he's not going to be there for season 3, because him constantly and the flashbacks, there's no change, there's no growth. Nobody hears they show how many years ago, this year ago. It's the same repeated speech over and over. He keeps repeating that, oh, he's working on himself, oh, this is his issue, oh, this is that. And it's like the same bullshit over and over. There's nothing new. And I'm just hoping, and I'm glad that the viewers and the actual network is seeing that this dude, it has no change in changing, and he's just a toxic individual and not good for TV, and we just need to get him off the screen. And I'm happy that is the case. I could care zero if it was his decision or the network decision. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just happy that he's no longer on our television screen. Brittany, I am tired of you and your whining. I'm happy that you have some backbone now in stating all of what you were stating on the reunion, but there were moments where I was like, Brittany, just shut up, because you keep chiming in, especially when it was Michelle and Jesse and it was their segment. You kept chiming in with your side of the conversation. Yeah, we know you're friends with Michelle, but you kept chiming in on that side of the conversation, and I just felt like, girl, just shut up. Because I'm sure when it's your segment with Jax, you would not want Jesse chiming in, basically telling his side of the story that he heard from Jax. You would have been annoyed. So at some points I was watching it and I was like, Brittany, just shut up. Just shut up. You're already in first seat. Just shut up and just let them have their moments, because you're doing this unnecessary talking. It just after a while felt annoying. Like, can we just let them speak? Instead of you letting us know that, oh my god, I'm friends with Michelle and Michelle showed me the messages and blah blah blah. I was just tired of it. But Brittany, I don't know what your season next year we're going to look like, because you're not going to have Jax, and I don't want to hear you complain about Jax when he's not on the show. So unless we're going to see you be going on dates or something else, I don't know what your story is going to be. But then again, you probably can do what Janet does and just butts her nose into everyone's business. But I don't know what your story is going to be next season. And this reunion, I'm just dreading to pass you and Jax's segment. But I clearly feel like the entire reunion is going to be about you back and forth with Jax. And at this point, I'm just over it. I am over it. Again, guys, this felt more like a catch-up reunion because we did not have a reunion for season 1. That's how I felt. I don't know if you guys felt like you got more from the reunion. I just felt like if it was shot maybe mid-season, again, I understand the reasons why they shot it early, but I believe if they shot it like mid-season, maybe around to the ending of the season when, the after shows and everything was airing, I believe we would have gotten a bit more out of these people, because now persons have heard what persons said and etc. And I guess it will then be brought into the next season with that drama. But I just felt like I could feel like it was shot too early. It was shot too fresh when they are not activated. They are not. Yes, I know they saw the episodes leading up to the reunion, but I just feel like they don't feel activated enough. It's like you're cramming so much and you're not going to remember the emotion, the feeling. You don't have time to process what you just watched because you're just jumping right into the reunion. And I felt like that's how I felt watching it, where it was just a bunch of fluff And I'm hoping next part two will be a bit more deep dive into the actual current season that we're on and get more into that. But that was my takeaway from the reunion, guys. Let me know your thoughts were on the reunion. Did you like it? Did you feel like it was a catch up? Let me know. Please remember, guys, to like the video, and also remember, guys, to subscribe to the channel. And I catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.